And welcome to Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and hit that subscribe button. You can find your favorite podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course on the Odyssey app. Just search for Tales from the Tips, subscribe, and enjoy. I'm DA. Normally I say alongside 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo, but Mick's still in Australia. So it's Masters Week. I'm bringing friends along. I hope you're ready for this, because I certainly am. Let's grip it and rip it. So this guy is not only a good friend, co-worker, colleague, but he is famous on this podcast if you've listened to any of the other episodes. He's known as our party animal, Mr. Jon Parla. Welcome, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
such a lovely name to have.
You're ready. You're ready for this, huh?
Yeah, I am.
Everybody's gonna wonder, why are you bringing this guy on? But it's really, there's more of it, more of a purpose.
Yes.
You are the founder and CEO of the Passion Foundation.
Yes, I like to call myself the co-founder.
Co-founder.
Because I found out Tara was the brains behind it. I was just along for the ride.
You're just the muscle of the operation,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, guys, if you go back to episode 10, Mick and I recorded live from the Passion Foundation. Jon puts on an amazing golf tournament every single year that benefits research for melanoma cancer research. And so, one of the things that I wanted to do today, he's also ironically, somewhat of a big golf fan, but also he's getting more and more involved with golf because of our relationship. I do blame you, by the way, for my relationship with Mick. You know this.
That's okay. Look where it's gotten you.
Thanks. Yeah, more work. But it's funny because when we last got together, we were at your golf outing. How did the golf outing turn out, by the way?
This year was great. We netted about $14,000, which is great, and every amount we can raise is good for us, and it goes towards our next project. So we're excited.
So what I always want to ask, and I know Mick and I talked about it during the podcast. The research money that you're funding, what does it go towards?
I guess we don't like to refer to it as research money because we're not doing research. We're building shade structures over playgrounds. So we like to use money for that, and then educating young kids about sun exposure and how the sun is a good thing. We do our shade structures in Georgia and in Florida. So people live in these southern states because of the weather, and it's nice out and it's sunny. But you just got to be smart. Whether it's long sleeves, a hat, under an umbrella, sunscreen, you just got to be smart when you're out in the sun and protect yourself. But then again, you need vitamin D. Your body needs vitamin D, so it's not a bad thing. You just got to be smart.
So, as Mick and I have gotten more and more involved with the tourney. By the way, we are the defending champs of the golf.
You're a multi-year champion.
I know. I gave James a hard time on our episode with our good friend James Porcello. One of the things I always want to know, with the golf outing every year, what are some of the benefits? Obviously, from it, that's building the shade structures.
Yeah.
These aren't cheap. These aren't like $500 shade structure. These are thousands of dollars.
Yeah, people always think, like when I say, we build shade structures over playgrounds, they're thinking, we're putting an umbrella in the sand like you're at the beach, and that's not the case at all. We've done 16 projects now, 10 in Florida, 6 in Georgia, and every one of them has been between $18,000 and $55,000. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we're the only full fundraisers. We do events or donations. But it's me, my family, and great supportive friends that do this. So it takes us a while to save the money up to put towards the next project. And we are lucky enough to work with some great schools that have done stuff to raise money at the school to also go towards their shade structure. So it's a good team effort.
So how does a school get involved with you?
They reach out to us. But if I had a waiting list for all the schools, it'd be 5 years plus, because we're averaging about one a year now. Sometimes it's maybe two, maybe it's none, because we're working on a big project. So they reach out to me directly. I talk with them. Most of the schools that have come to us, I've had a personal connection somehow. We started in our own community where our kids went to school, and in Florida kind of grew out from there. And then when I got here to Atlanta, we did the school my kids went to, and then just started doing other schools in Roswell and building out from there. So it's really a personal connection through somebody that says, hey, this school needs it. But I've had schools in Arizona reach out to me, schools in Colorado reach out to me. And I could do those if I was raising money and was a business, but we're a local charity that, work on some small budgets, and, we can only do so much.
Well, and I know you and I've talked about it, but how did this all get started, and why?
So when Tara first got diagnosed in 2010, we were trying to figure out how do we take this negative that had reached our family and turn it into a positive. We've got a lot of pent-up energy. We want to do something to stop, to help our community. And she did a bunch of research. It was all her. And, we could raise money to donate to American Cancer Society or another foundation. But we wanted to do something local that touched our community. So she did the research, and she found out about the shade structures that could block up to 97% of the UV rays and keep the playgrounds 20 degrees cooler in the summer. So we figured this is great, because this is where the kids are not doing what they need to be doing. Teachers love it. Parents, when they go to the playground on the weekends, love it. So you literally be sitting in the sun and take 2 steps under the shade, and it's 20 degrees cooler. And that's huge. And then the kids, none of them want to put on long sleeves when they're going to recess or put on sunscreen.
Right.
So, Tara's goal was if she can prevent one young kid from going through the battle that she went through, she's done her job. And we know we've done that 100-fold. It's all the stories we get from people, and then you're not getting the stories from the little kids, but you're getting stories from their parents or friends of ours or family or whatever that, hey, I heard Tara's story. I went to the dermatologist and I found out I had 4 moles removed. I had a squamous cell mole. I've had some people had melanoma, and early stages melanoma where they were able to have surgery and get past it. So we know her story's touched a lot of people.
Yeah. So again, because our listeners don't really know the entire story, your wife Tara.
Yep.
How did she even find out that she had it?
So we were at a hockey game in Florida with a client of mine, and his wife was talking to Tara, and she had melanoma, and I saw them, looked over a couple times, and they're both crying, they're connecting, and she was telling Tara, do you go to the dermatologist? And Tara's like, yeah, actually I've got melanoma in my family, I go all the time. But at that point with 2 young kids, maybe she was 9 months that she's been. She's like, I really need to go. So the next day she made an appointment. We went a couple days later, and I was going to a lunch meeting with a client, and I was literally about to sit down, and the phone rang, and you kind of know when the phone rings at a time that your wife doesn't call you, it's like, okay, I better answer this. So I answered it, and she was bawling, and she was saying, hey, they found something on my back, I need to go back in, and you need to come with me. So when they ask the husband to come back in, or the spouse, whoever, come back in, it's serious.
Yeah.
So I left that lunch, we went right to the doctor, and they found out that there was a little mole on her back the size of a pencil eraser circumference that was stage 2 melanoma.
Oh, wow.
So at that point, they signed you up for surgery the next week, go and remove that spot, which ended up being a 10-inch scar on her back that was S-shaped to help her keep mobility in her shoulder. But then they also removed her lymph nodes and found out that it spread. So at that point, it's stage 4 melanoma, and we got to start chemo right away. So a week later than that, she's starting a 14-month chemo treatment, doing it 3 days a week. So that's how we found out.
And you, at this time, you have 2 young kids.
Yeah, at that age, they're 5 and 2, 4 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, and I'm getting Justin, I'm watching a little golf behind you. She went into remission.
Yeah, so she finished the 14 months. Hair started to grow back. Doctors were saying, hey, live your life like you're cancer-free, and we'll just check up every 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And within that was in August of 2011. By October, she started getting some rashes and some weird skin ailments. We didn't know what it was, so we started going back to dermatologists, to allergists, trying to figure it out. None of them could figure out what it was. And then we had a doctor at the Moffitt Center in Tampa, which was our main doctor. He was one of the best melanoma doctors in the world. And he said, hey, I want you to come back in between Christmas and New Year's, but before you come, just go get local scans, or get scans at your local doctor, and then just bring those with, or have them send them to us. So we did that, and then right after that, we got a call again. You need to come back and bring your husband. So we knew, okay, this is not good again. So we went back, and at that point, we found out it spread to her liver, lung, and her brain. We had to start a different chemo and radiation right away. And the radiation they were doing was called gamma knife, and they focused what was in her brain. And that was, January we started that, and September is when she passed.
And it's kind of one of the things that when you and I first met and you were telling me the story of Tara and kind of what's going on, I always asked how can we get involved? How can the at that time how can the station get involved? How can I get involved?
Yep.
And you said hey, I've got a golf outing. What was it? Why a golf outing? What really drove a golf outing, and what's
when we lived in
behind
Florida, we used to always do a 5K run. That was our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it was called Tara's Jingle Jog. It was a couple weeks before Christmas, and that was in December. And then we'd always do a golf outing late summer, early fall down there with a company that was doing one that wanted us to be the beneficiary of it. So it started in Florida, and then when we moved to Atlanta, I decided to start doing one here, and we just had our 6th annual one. We're working on our 7th annual here in this November. So it's all fun. Everyone likes to get out there, and we do it on a Friday afternoon, so everyone's loose, drinking, having fun. We have activities on the holes, and we just want people to have a good time. We're not ones that just ask for money.
Yeah.
Hey, can you donate? We want people to be part of the foundation and do stuff. So when we do a golf outing, people are out there having fun and being part of it, knowing their money is going to a good cause.
Well, and I'll say I can speak as a participant, but also the reason that Mick and I got involved in it is, we're like kids. I think my wife refers to me as the 4th child of the family, but we are notorious for not putting sunscreen on or taking care of ourselves, especially out on a golf course.
Right.
Mick especially. 15 years being out on tour, he's exposed to sun exposure all the time.
Hard-headed Australians.
Extremely hard-headed Australian, obviously. My point to that, but also is why we got involved, is to help you guys because and get the message out. How could somebody that may not be able to be in the golf outing, how could they get involved with your organization?
I guess the easiest answer to that is to go to our website, which is tricky, but it's thepassion-foundation.org. So the word thepassion-foundation.org, and we have a donate button there. They go to our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/Passion Foundation. And of course, we love those kind of donations, but we do love when people come and participate.
Yeah.
They can always mail a check, any of that kind of stuff. But we like when people are there, get to meet us, get to meet, know our story, know who we are, know who the kids are, and be part of it. So it's we enjoy that.
I'll say you've got an event getting ready to come up, and we'll talk about that in a second. I remember the first outing I played in, and I was just amazed on how much support. Yeah, sponsors, a lot of drinking. You are in sales. You should have a sponsorship by Fireball.
Well,
but with the amount of consume,
we do have Tito's, so that's always good.
Tito's and the consumption of Fireball shots out on that golf course is astronomical on that day. The upcoming event, Tipsy for Tara.
Yeah.
Talk me through it. When is it, and why did you guys come up with that event?
So it's coming up Sunday, May 4th. To why we started this, because the golf outing is 90% males, and the wives of the guys that come out and play wanted to do something, but they're not golfers. So we figured, what can we do that would involve women? So let's do a wine event. We're lucky to partner with Deep Roots Wine Bar in downtown Roswell. We've been doing it there. This will be our 5th year. And this year just happens to be a perfect day. May 4th would be Tara's 50th birthday.
Yep.
We just celebrated. May is melanoma month. So that's even, all these good things, synergies are falling together.
Yeah.
And it's, a lot of wine, beer, live music.
See, and now people wonder why
auction.
do I call you the party guy, right?
Yeah. Well, drinks.
Yeah.
But silent auction and just a good time. Just we're lucky. Knock on wood. All of our events have had beautiful weather. Tara does not let it rain on our events. Yeah. So you're outside having a good time, drinking wine, hanging with your friends, and listening to music and just enjoying yourself. So it's an easy, casual Sunday afternoon of just hanging out.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. Where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
Seemingly, it fits right around like a horse racing event.
This year does, yes. The Derby's the day before, Cinco's the day after, so we're a nice bridge. Just keep drinking.
Just go.
Just Thursday with us, Sunday, Monday for Cinco.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think if you listen back into episode 10, Mick and I had struggled with the website. So it's the passion, I say hyphen foundation.org. So I do understand how tough it is. I make fun of Mick quite a bit on that one. He struggled through it. I'm doing really well with it. As you can see, I'm passionate. I'm locked in.
It wasn't always that, but we got hacked, so we had to change it, and we were trying to keep the wording right, but it gets tricky. But we're not trying to drive traffic to a website. We're trying to get people out to our events. So the website, the one or two times they ever have to put it in their browser, they'll be fine.
just keep clicking donate. Donate. Your web browser will understand it. So you guys just wrapped up though another event in Florida.
Yep. We partner with the Florida Everblades, which is the minor league hockey team there. They're going for their third Kelly Cup, which is their championship this year. And we do a blackout jersey night to blackout melanoma. So they make black jerseys, they have our logo on them, and they auction them off after the weekend, and the proceeds go to us. So that's been something we've been doing now. It's going to be 11 years, 11 years, so we did it before we were moving here. So it's been a great partnership. It's the community where we started in, and it keeps our name out there, and it keeps Tara's name present, and it's always been they're a great partner of ours.
So the golf outing isn't going to be in November. We got Tipsy for Tara in May. How long are you going to keep doing this?
You know what? My goal was when both the kids are away in college that I would stop. But I tell people that, they're like, no, you got to keep going. You got to keep the golf outing going. You got to keep the event going. So we'll take it year by year right now. Once we finish the next project, we'll see where we're at. And, is it just something we keep doing? And it's, we've got it down. It's cookie cutter for us now, and we just got to try to change a few things up each time. So it's not the timing and what it takes, but it's just, I don't want to wear people out. I don't want people to be like, oh, another golf outing, or another wine event. Yeah. So if I start to hear that, then I know it's time to stop. We've been doing it 15 years now. Great support from family and friends. So it's something.
Well, and you got a great support system.
I do.
And I'll let you talk about Becky. Just an amazing wife now that you have. Now this is where the real fun connection becomes. Becky is from my hometown, Farmington Hills. We're both the same age.
Michiganders.
You can't get rid of us.
No.
You've got Porcello over at Twin Peaks. Yeah. You've got me. You've got Becky.
Everywhere I turn, Michigan, man, it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, are you ready to just say go blue?
I don't mind saying go blue. Okay. It's good saying rooting for any Detroit sports.
Oh, so you're not a Lions fan yet?
No. Bear down, baby.
So he's so Jon is from Chicago. The one part about the hockey, we love hockey. Yeah. You and I both talk about it all the time. Porcello talks about it. Mick's a big hockey fan. Yeah. The only problem with Mick is you and Mick are Blackhawk fans. Yeah. And we gotta change that.
No, that's not going to change.
Yeah, I mean,
until Atlanta gets a team, then maybe we'll root for them together.
There you go. Well, we got a really good golf simulator team now, the world champs. Okay, so I got to ask you this. As executive producer Kim and I were talking about having you on, and Kim, obviously we work together. You know her a little bit differently than I do. She's my executive producer. She's technically one of your bosses.
She is. Yeah. She is. I've known Kim for 20 years, so it's, I've known her a long time.
So we were talking about it, and I told her, hey, listen, I want to bring Jon on. It's Masters Week. We've got Tipsy for Tara coming up. And Mick's, obviously a no-show. By the way, we make fun of people when they don't show up for work here.
He knows the next round is on him.
Definitely. I'm putting him to work at Twin Peaks, and now he's going to buy rounds for us.
Yes.
There's stories about your dad. You're in that phase of life that you and I are both in, where our parents are now becoming our challenges. The circle of life, right?
Yeah.
So I got to ask, stories of Sam.
Yeah, he's again. I'm lucky. I'm blessed to have my dad alive still. To be able to live with me half the year, so it's fun. I never got to meet any of my grandparents, so to have him be there, part of my life, part of my kids' life, is great. But he's fun. He's got some stories, man. That could be a whole different series of podcasts of just stories about my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you were telling me about this one story. He used a leaf blower.
Yeah. So a lot of the stories are funny, but 3 of them happened in one weekend, and I'll start with, I was down in Florida with Becky, and getting ready to go to the airport, and I look at my phone to see the camera of the house, and My dad, who usually is sitting in his recliner, which if he was that would be no big deal, but he was on the couch, head stepped back, arms on his belly, and I'm like, oh my God, he looks like he's dead. You know, and Becky's like, that's not funny. No, let me see.
I can hear Becky going, John, that's not funny.
So she looks and she's like, oh gosh, that doesn't look good. So I'm like, well, I'll keep checking. So I get to the airport in Florida, look, same position. I'm like, oh boy, this isn't good. Fly home to Atlanta, a couple hours later, land, look at the camera again, he's in the same spot. So now I'm thinking, okay, he is dead. I just got to get home before my son does so he doesn't find his grandpa dead on the couch. And so I get home, walk in, same position, lights off, TV on, back door open, dogs going in and out. So I try to gather myself by the door and think, okay, he's dead. What am I going to do? Got to call paramedics, whatever. I go tap him on the shoulder, and he wakes up and he's grunting like a bear on hibernation. And I'm like, in Fowler language, like, Dad, what the heck? Like, you've been sitting here for 5 hours. I thought you were dead. He's just kind of moaning and groaning a little bit. So I go get up. He comes into the kitchen, a little groggy, and he's like, well, I've been taking medicine. And I look on the counter, and it's Mucinex night watch, or night shift, which is like to knock you out at night.
Yeah.
And he's like, it says take every 4 hours. I'm like, at night, Dad, not during the day. He's like, well, it said every 4 hours. I didn't know. I go, yeah, well, every 4 hours at night. I'm like, go to bed. He's like, well, good thing I wasn't in charge of any babies. So,
yeah,
so
right.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, so he goes downstairs, and I'm straightening up, and I see that there's fireplace soot everywhere in the TV room, and like leading. I don't know what happened. I thought maybe something fell out of the fireplace. Maybe my son and his friends were messing around, and someone fell in there. So an hour later, my son comes home, and I'm like, hey, bud, did you and your friends fall in the fireplace this weekend? There's soot everywhere. And he's like, Dad, when I got home from lacrosse practice, Papa had the leaf blower in the house, and he was trying to blow dog hair out the back door, but he was blowing everything everywhere. So it's like, oh, good Lord, like, you can't vacuum or think you're vacuuming with a leaf blower and try to blow something out. It doesn't quite work that way. And then lastly, before I left that weekend, I'd bought breaded pork tenderloin, little cutlets. And so that Monday morning, I'm in the fridge, and I'm looking at them, and I see their saran wrap. And my dad had just come up, so I said, Dad, did you have these? He's like, yeah. I'm like, how'd you cook them? He goes, was I supposed to? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I made a sandwich. He had made a raw pork sandwich.
Oh, my.
And ate the sandwich. And I'm like, Dad, you're too old and not fast enough to get to the bathroom if you get sick. So this could have been really bad. And he just laughed. He's like, well, good thing I've got an iron stomach. And I'm like, okay, I can't leave you alone anymore. You don't know how to make meals for yourself. You're leaf blowing the house, and you're taking medicine that looks like you're dead. So, and he's got, there's many more stories, but those are ones that I'll tell for now.
Yeah, you can share. You can share for now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got a little over a month left with me, and then he goes up to my brother's in Minnesota. So it's every day is a interesting story with him.
Well,
dating life. Met him, doctors multiple times a week. And,
I was gonna say Sam's is an eligible bachelor again. I mean, widowed,
81-year-old on the prowl, and
oh boy,
he's on a dating app, and he's doing well for himself.
So, ladies, if you're in the Atlanta area or up in the Minneapolis area, looking for an 81-year-old man, look for Sam.
Yeah,
got it.
A big, pretty white smile with his fake teeth, and he's you'll know who he is.
This was fun. Once again, the passion-foundation.org.
Yep.
We got Tipsy for Tara coming up May 4th.
Yep.
We've got the golf outing November 7th.
Yes, Friday, November 7th. And again, and it's because of support like this, support from our friends and clients and family that we're able to do this stuff. And the support from Becky has been amazing since day one. She's going into an awkward situation of you dating someone who lost a spouse that could always be tricky, and she's handled it amazingly. And we've had has our ups and downs, but married now and everything is great. And she's a huge support and a huge help for everything, and sometimes pushes me to do more things for the foundation than I want to. But that's the kind of support she gives me, and makes me do those things. So.
Well, Bud, this has been a blast. Really glad you could make the trip up here to Augusta or over to Augusta with me.
It's always fun.
We're gonna have some fun later on today, and
now a little drinky time.
There you go. Shocker, right? So, thanks for coming on. Can't wait to defend our title at the golf outing. Make sure you keep the scoring legit this year. I mean, I've got all of our round documented last year. I had to have Leo at that time follow me around with a camera.
And I said, maybe we need to get like that electric scoring in the cart or some kind of something so my friends aren't sharpening their pencils to try to get
I don't know. That also can be deadly because you kind of watch and wait for people to, post a score and then you seemingly post a lower one. But I don't know. I don't know if there's a
I
perfect
can't control
system.
that, but I let the course handle that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's been a blast. Thank you for doing this with me, guys. If you're looking for us out on X, Instagram, and obviously on TikTok. Catch us on YouTube with all of our new shorts and social content and all of our new episodes. Thanks for teeing it up with us on Tales from the Tips. Remember, keep your drive straight, your putt short, and your scores low. We'll see you next time.